Hi everyone, my name's Ivory. Welcome to this card making project. Thank you for waiting for me and being so patient. I've taken a little bit of time off for a sabbatical and other things, but from now on we're going to have one project every month at least, and in December we're going to have 2 projects. I'm going to put a description of all the items I use on my YouTube channel underneath the video, so be sure to click the word see more, because then that will show you everything that I've used. Also, if you could be good enough to share the videos, because I don't want you to lose the YouTube channel and the previous tutorials. We're going to concentrate on techniques and things that you've already got in your stash and adapting what you've already got, because we spend our hard-earned money on our stash. So we don't want it to just sit there. We want to use it with new products and mix it in with other things that we also have. So without further ado, put your feet up, grab a cuppa, and let's just get on with some crafting. Eek, I'm so excited to be back. Okay, so for this project, it's a Christmas card, and it's Christmas all the way between now and December. We're going to be using the Griffin Ruffle cut and emboss dies. We're going to be using the 2 larger dies from the set, the large outline oval and the next size down or ornate oval. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using amongst other things. I'm going to start with my base card, which is a 7x5 inch blank ivory card base. I've already stamped my handmade by stamp on the back. I've added my name. I've also, just to make it a little bit special for Christmas, added 2 Christmas rub-ons at either side. I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to make sure that is a nice sharp crispy edge along the side, because it makes it look nice and professional and it helps it stand up on your mantelpiece. Oh, it's such a long time since I've said that. It is nice to be back. So we're going to start and we're going to decorate the inside, because you know me, I like the inside to be as pretty as the outside. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardstock, which is ivory as well, and I've run it through an embossing folder from the Finishing School Snowflake Wonderland set. Now, the embossing folder is actually a 6x6 inch embossing folder. So I embossed it to one stage and then I turned the cardstock round and I embossed it again. I married up the pattern because it's a repeat pattern on the embossing folder. Then I inked it using 2 distress inks, and the colours were peeled paint and Candid apple. I very, very lightly added the ink, and then I put it through my die cutting machine again between 2 pieces of paper to flatten it. So it takes the embossing away, but it leaves the pattern that you've inked. So then you can write on it if you want. I've got flat double-sided tape on the back, peeling the back of that away, and I'm going to insert this into my card. And I'm just going to marry up the outline to give it a nice little edge and then press it down. There we go. Next, from the now then, I'm a bit rusty here. The Sentiment Stamp and Die set, I've cut using the die with the ornate shape. I've stamped using the favourite Christmas stamps from Griffin, the 39 Christmas stamps, 'tis the season. And I used a red Stays On ink to stamp. Then I've also used the Christmas rub-ons from Griffin, just to add a little bit of highlight around the edge. So I've got double-sided tape on the back. I'm going to peel the back of that away, and we're then going to add this to the centre of our card. Now, because we did the embossing and then we flattened it, it's a flat surface, so that'll stick nicely. And as I say, you can write your message in there because it is flat, or you could just add a different card or right on this side if you really wanted to. You could actually marry this side up with the background from that side as well to make it a really fully finished card. So that's our inside, and now we're going to start with our outside. I'm going back to my bone folder to make sure that crease is still nice and sharp. Now for the background, for the first layer, I've cut out just a piece of, it's a tobacco coloured cardstock. Nice and plain, and I've got flat double-sided tape on the back, and I'm just going to position that, and I think if I remember correctly it measures 120 millimetres by 170 millimetres for the first layer, and that will give a nice outline around the edge of the card. The next layer, I've done exactly the same as I did for the inside, but this time instead of flattening the embossing, I've left it as embossing. So I've embossed a layer of ivory cardstock that is approximately 10 millimetres smaller than the previous layer. I've put it through my die cutting machine to emboss it, and then I've highlighted it by using distress inks. I've used 3 colours, which are the peeled paint, Candid apple and brushed corduroy, just to give it that beautiful toned vintage look. I've got flat tape on the back of this, so I can peel away the backing of it, and then we can position it in the centre of our card, like that. So we're building our layers up already, but they're just flat layers at the moment. So our next layer is from our Ruffle cut and emboss dies. I've cut out using the large die, the outline die, the base, and I've been frugal with the centre, so I've cut the centre out using the next outline size die from the set. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to position that through the centre of our card. Now you'll notice where I've done the inking on the embossed layer that I've left the centre. That's absolutely fine because that's going to be covered up. So I've actually only inked the edges that you're going to see. Our next layer is the ornate layer. I've cut this out in ivory cardstock, and I've actually inked around the edge using the brushed corduroy, the peeled paint, and a tiny touch of the Candid apple, just so it tones in with the embossed layer that we've already put on. I've got flat double-sided tape on the back, so I can just pull the backing of this away, and I'm going to marry that up over our previous layer like that. There we go. Press that down. I've got no tape around the actual ornate edges because I want them to just do their own thing, and if they stand up, they stand up, and if they don't, they don't. So there they are. So our next layer is at the centre that we cut out previously from the base layer from the cut and emboss set, and I've got double-sided tape on there, and I'm just going to position that in the centre. There we go. Press that down. Next, I'm going to start assembling all my embellishments. So my embellishments are a mixture of the Anna Griffin Holiday Home Slider embellishments, Christmas embellishments that you might have left over from different card kits. So I've taken some of the greenery I think it's fair to say the acorns, the fir trees, etc. I've got flat tape on one side and a foam pad on the other. And I'm going to just start placing them on my cardstock, nice and symmetrical, because you know me, I like symmetrical. And I've done the same with the fur, and we're just simply overlapping them at either side like that. And I'm not pressing them down because I just want to make sure that they're positioned right. I think they will be. Now the next shape that I've cut is from Ivory cardstock, and I've used the same shape as we used for the inside of the card from the Sentiment Stamp and Die set. I've inked the edges, and again I've used the peeled paint, the Candid apple and the brushed corduroy. And I just wanted to show you that I've not inked them the best. However, that doesn't matter, because as long as you get a little bit of colour on there, just to save having that crisp ivory edge for this card, because we want it looking a bit distressed. It doesn't matter if you're the beginner for inking or you're the most advanced person, just get a bit of colour on there. So I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to position that through the centre of our card, just marrying it up. Again, I'm not going to quite press it down yet because we're building the front up with our layers. Next, I've taken a sentiment, and this is from the Anna Griffin Favourite Christmas Sentiment set. They were all stickers. It's quite an old set, but it's one of my favourites for Christmas. It's got a self-adhesive back, so I can just simply peel the back of it away. And I'm going to position it through the centre of our previous layer, like that. I'm just going to lay it down. Then I've taken, a holly die cut, and I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just simply going to add that just to the bottom facing downwards, and I've also got one for the top as well, exactly the same, and I've got 3D foam on the back of that. I'm just going to place that at the top so the edge of it marries up to the sentiment in the centre. Next, I've got two gorgeous acorns. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm simply going to position these just to the side of our holly, like that, just with a little gap in the centre, just slightly. I've then got a poinsettia that I've cut out. I've trimmed it and trimmed it right down, and got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to position that just between the acorns like that. And now I'm just going to take stock of what I've put on. I think that looks great, and I think everything can just be now pressed down because everything seems to be in the right place. And I'm going to finish it off with a gold bow. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to pop that under the sentiment. And our card is finished. We've got lots of layers on it. It will still go in your normal envelope for your 7x5 card. We've got our matching inserts that we've created, and it's just a beautiful card. And I'm very happy that we've been able to put this together, basically, because I think with a good collection of leftover embellishments that you might have, you might be able to create something yourself using this technique. And I think the great technique about this is the embossing. the embossing and then flattening it, because then you can write on it, and it gives you all your embossing folders a new dimension to be able to use them slightly differently to how they're intended, really. And then adding the rub-ons, it just gives it a little bit more interest. So that's it for our first project back. I was so nervous filming this, and I hope that doesn't come through. Please message me on Facebook. I can get back to you on Facebook. It's a lot easier and a lot quicker for me. If you've got any questions, please send me your questions. Again, just message me on Facebook and I'll be happy to answer you. I want to thank you so much for watching and sticking by me. It's just a pleasure to be back. The excitement and the passion is back for crafting, and I'm just grateful that I can share it with you. So, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.